In this video, we are going to discuss about EIGRP for IPv4 troubleshooting. So before troubleshooting the EIGRP, first let us configure the IPv4 address family session of the VRF named red in Cisco release. You see router in the configuration mode IP VRF red. Then it will enter into the VRF. Then we have given RD 1:1 and again exit. Now we have to again came back to the configuration mode. Here you have to enter into the router configuration mode, router EIGRP 1. It will take you to the router configuration mode. Given address family IPv4 VRF as red and given autonomous system is 101, network IP address is 172.168.16.0.0 and given default metric 1000 and also 100, 25, 1, 1500. Given into the AF exit address family here. So you see, when troubleshooting the EIGRP, we have to consider two things here. The ability to troubleshoot problems related to exchange of the routing information and also missing information from the routing table is one of the most essential thing. And also you see that the network engineer who is involved in this, in the implementation of maintenance of routed enterprise of networks, also should be known about the uses of this routing protocol. So this section clearly helps you to find the troubleshooting workflow in the EIGRP and also explains the Cisco IOS commands, how they are used to gather the information, and also about the EIGRP data structures, and also about the routing processes to detect the correct error of the routing issues. So you see this diagram clearly. If you see, before going to the diagram, we have to know about the structured methodology. When you see this diagram clearly, you see when you have a connectivity issue here, then you try to get about the information how the neighbors table hold all the devices that you have. So to know that about the devices of the neighbor table that you expect is, you have to enter these commands: show IP EIGRP neighbors and show IP interfaces brief, show IP protocols and show EIGRP interfaces. By this, that you have the information of all the devices that the neighboring table holds. So if this has passed, then you have to go to the next step, that does the routing table have all the necessary route informations. So having the route informations in the routing table, so that you have to know what route informations are available, you have to enter these commands, which one are show IP route and show IP protocol and show access list. This gives the information. And again, if this has passed, then you have to go with the functional network troubleshooting. So if in case in the first step itself, if you get a no, then you have to search for our interfaces are optional and also our interfaces are operational. Does the EIGRP AS match? And also you see, are the interfaces enabled for EIGRP? And also, is there any interface that is configured as passive? So you have to keep in your mind about these four problems. If you find any fault in the first step itself, then if this has passed, as I said, in the second step, if you get any no, so that you have to take into consideration about these three steps. Those are the networks being advertised? So check whether the networks are getting advertised or not. So is there any ACL blocking advertisements? So if you have any configured any ACL blocking advertisements, so you have to check and disable them. Is there any discontiguous network issue? So if you have to see about the discontiguous network issues and you have to overcome that, so that the connectivity issues will go down. So rest again going to the functional network. You see this functional network, again we have to take the help of the third party vendor, and again we have to check with the functional network. So this is about the basic troubleshooting and the step by step following of the flow chart of the connectivity issues when you have an EIGRP troubleshooting. So if you see, after configuring EIGRP, the first test connectivity to the remote network using ping. So you have to ping the remote network. So it is the first step to see the connectivity issues. If the ping fails, check for the router that has EIGRP configured and also the EIGRP neighbors and troubleshoot the link by link basis. So having the EIGRP neighbors also, we have to see the first step, so that we can troubleshoot on a link by link basis here. And neighbor adjacency might not be running for a number of reasons. So the connectivity to the neighbor also might be a big problem here, because that not be running for a number of reasons. And you see this, the basic design with the two EIGRP neighbors connected to the Ethernet switch is shown in the next diagram. So in the diagram you can clearly see that here the headquartered router and the branch router, between that it has been connected to switches here. So this is fast Ethernet 0/1, 0/0 and 0/1 here. So if the headquarter router is not reachable, then it will see the loopback 100, 30 and 1. So it has tried for 100 times and again it has came back to the same router. So if you can see clearly, the headquarter router has 3 loopback interfaces and both routers have 2 fast Ethernet interfaces. So you see one is connected to the switch, another one is connected to another switch, and also one fast Ethernet of each router is connected to a switch. So here 0/0 is connected to the switch and the switch has only one VLAN for all the ports. So only one VLAN is available on the switch for all the ports, and this is about the basic troubleshooting. And this basic troubleshooting of the connectivity issues also is taken as a first consideration, and we have to follow that flowchart clearly and use those commands to know about the connectivity issues, and also should keep in our mind about the four steps which when the connectivity issues happen, we have to consider the 4 steps for each step in the flowchart, so that the troubleshooting in the initial stage will be very useful to us, and also to the functional network connectivity issues will be forwarded to the vendors. So this is about the EIGRP IPv4 troubleshooting.